NEXA Mortgage Revenue Share properly explained, everything you need to know. So my goal today in this video is to share with you everything I possibly can so that you have a proper understanding of how the NEXA Revenue Share compensation plan actually works. You see, in talking to loan officers across the country, almost all of them, in fact, I would say 99.9% of them, have no clue how the revenue share model works. Let's say that you come over here to NEXA Mortgage and you love it so much, you told one of your LO friends that you've worked with in the past, and they jump ship and come join you here at NEXA Mortgage too. So you've got one producer in your downline. So let's just, this is the calculator here, and we're not gonna look at this side at all. We're not gonna look at this side at all. We'll look at those in a different video. All we're gonna look at today is the passive income, the downline. So again, here's the one person right here that you've brought into the company. And let's say that their average production is just 300 grand a month. I mean, that's maybe a deal, maybe less than a deal, right? And so if their average production is 300 grand a month, they're worth about $300 a month to you, or $3,600 a year. But let's say that they're a little bit better than below average, and they produce maybe, let's say, $1.5 million a month, right? Then all of a sudden, they're worth about $1,500, or not about, but they're worth $1,500 a month to you, or $18,000 a year. So you can kind of see how this can stack up. And if you've got, let's say, 10 people on your top line, that becomes some real money right there. Okay, so we're not going to go there yet. But you can see that downline 2 and downline 3 are both still red in this. And that is because to open up downline 2, you need to have 5 folks in downline 1. But let's say that you still only have the one person. Let's say you brought in Susie to the company, and that's it. You stopped introducing people, but Susie went crazy and she started bringing in a bunch of folks too. So you're not going to get paid on her downline until you've got 5 producers up here. And again, that's really important to make sure you join under the right sponsor so that you get the help you need to get to those 5 or 10 folks on your first downline. So now you have 5 people on your first downline. And let's say that Susie's one of them. She went crazy and she introduced one person here to NEXA Mortgage, right? And we're just going to say everybody's doing about 1,500 or 1.5 million a year, right? So you're getting paid on this level, you're getting paid on your second level, and each person is going to produce about $1,500 a month for you, which brings you down to about $9,000. Let's say that this guy right here, that's John. John introduces Bob. Well, you're not getting paid on Bob until you get 10 up here. So even though he might be a $3 million a month producer, you're not getting paid any revenue share on Bob. So again, that's why it's so important to come back up here and open up all 3 levels and get 10 producers in your top level, right? Because then all of a sudden now, you've got Susie down here, she brought somebody in, and then she brought in Bob, and so there's Bob down there. So just by having that 10 at your top level, and even just one person in those downlines, downline 2 and downline 3, that opens you up to about $18,000 a month if they're producing $1.5 million. And you're going, Paul, no, I don't know anybody producing that. They only produce about $750. Okay, so let's just change this down to $750. You're still making pretty good money off that. So let's take a look at something else. Let's just, for fun, say that the people on your top line aren't as good as you, but with our help, they can get maybe to 5 in that top downline. And let's say that that downline introduces 5 in your downline 3, and they're only doing $750 a month. That's some serious numbers right there. But let's take this up a notch. Let's say they're doing 1.5 million a month. That's some real numbers. And you can see how it's so important to grow that top line and then help the people below you grow their downline too. So let's take a look at those 2 nuances we spoke of earlier. Number 1, it's an exit strategy. So let's take a look at your current mortgage company. Let's say 5, maybe 10 years down the road, you decide that you want to retire and never want to write another mortgage in your life. Your income goes to 0. Unless you're fortunate enough to have a tiny 401k or something, then you might get a little bit of income. But after 5, 10, 15, even 30 years of work and dedication, your income goes to 0. So let's take a look at NEXA. Let's say 5, 10 years from now, you decide you are done with loans. You never want to write another one. So you retain your revenue share. You don't even need to keep a mortgage license. So if you're like many of our partners over here at NEXA Mortgage and you're making 10, 20, 30, 70, even $100,000 a month in revenue share, and you decide to step away from mortgages, you get to retain that 10, 20, 30, 70, 100 grand in revenue share. And that's a massive exit strategy, isn't it? And that brings me to nuance number 2, and that is it's willable. And that's really what got me here to NEXA Mortgage. Let's say in 7, 8 years, heaven forbid, you pass away, but you have revenue share coming in at 34, 50, 60, whatever thousands of dollars a month. You get to keep that, or your family gets to keep that as long as you put it in the will, and they don't even have to maintain or ever get a mortgage license or ever come to work for NEXA Mortgage. And that provides sort of a safe haven for your family, heaven forbid something does happen to you. So if something unforeseen does happen, then that revenue share takes care of your family as long as those agents are still producing. And no other mortgage company out there will do that for their originators.